Hey guys, we're back with Everlasting Summer. Oh god. Why? We're on the Miku route. We're left with Lena, Miku, and me. Well, Masha really, but Miku. Um, Router, Router, electronic. Um, I'm pretty sure he just died. It was off camera, so we can't really be sure. Um, Yeah, they ran with difficulty, especially Lennon with her legs bending. She fell a few times, but I quickly picked her up, spurring her shouts and dragged her on. Passing the trees is the hardest part. Yeah, we're running through the forest right now. Because, we don't want to go back to the cabin, because that's where Alyssa was hung. Um, and, you know, so we're just trying to get out. We can't leave, because that's how our electronic just died. So, we're just running into the woods. Though the full moon was shining up in the sky, in the dark I was still constantly running into snags, branches, falling into pits. Nettles were slashing my legs and the leaves were hitting me in the face. My heart was pounding heavily. Referee soul was struggling for my chest with every breath. Blood was pounding so heavily in my head it seemed my skull was ready to burst from the pressure at any moment. Stopped feeling my body, legs carrying me forward by themselves. At last, we ran into the clearing and stopped. Exhausted, girls fell on the ground, and I sat on the fallen tree. Who was that? People or demons? Or something else? The grasshoppers! And does that chirping sound come from? And where does okay, I couldn't make them out in the twilight, but it's probably for the best. After I slightly came to my senses, I walked up to the girls. Lena was lying dead white. Seems like she completely lost it. Masha was sitting, hugging her knees and wobbling sideways. We gotta do something, I said as I sat near. It's too late. We're gonna die, Desu, she whispered in a hollow voice. We're still alive. That means there's still hope. We just have to believe in hope! We can't fall into despair! That's Junko's strap. Oh wait, what? Wrong game? Wrong game. No, there's nothing now. It's all over. I hugged her and held her tight. No, it's not. I was still sitting, staring into the forest's darkness. Grasshoppers could barely be heard now. If not for Masha's labored breathing, I would think I was dead. Forgive me, she whispered quietly. For what? For everything. For being like that. For whatever I failed to achieve. It's not a good time for that now, I said tenderly. We don't have much time left, so it is indeed a good time. She looked up at me and barely smiled. Forgive me. If only I wouldn't be so selfish in the first place. I looked in her eyes, her bottomless, sorrowful eyes, and felt a hot tear crossing across my cheek. No, it's me who should feel sorry. I was totally unaware what to say in such a situation. I did so much evil to her, caused so much pain, and now at the last minute, I can't think of anything than an empty, I'm sorry. I was so overwhelmed with anger for my helplessness, for being unable to defend the only person I had held beloved. I always loved you. So let's get an H seat here before we die. And one I could watch, she said quietly. Oh wait, I know, she said quietly. Masha smiled again, although her face was trembling with tears were running down her cheeks. And I still love you. I know, Desu. I couldn't stand it. I longed to turn away, to close my eyes, but I couldn't afford to weakness at the last not moment. I leaned down and kissed her hard. The time stood still for us. This cursed pioneer camp, the dark night, all that hellspawn, and even the bloody grasshoppers just ceased to exist. The whole universe ceased to exist, just the two of us were left. When I was almost willing to believe that it was all just a bad dream, the woods came alive with rustling. The foliage far away quivered with a swarm of vague silhouettes emerged from the darkness. Oh, okay, hold on. I wanna just go over who the possible killers are again. First off, Cat Girl. We don't know anything about her pretty much, so it's as possible as anything else really. Second, Lena. She could have killed Slavia and Alyssa, but I don't know about the disappearances. And I don't think she could have done that. It's obviously something supernatural, so I don't think it's her. Unless she's like possessed or something, which I don't really know. Third off, it's everyone. Like everyone's in on it. Or fourth, the real Semyon has something to do with it. I don't really think that's the case either. But it's possible, at the very least. The Semyon who got lost in the mines? I'm not sure what happened to him, but, anything's possible. Still couldn't make them out, but I was certain that they were the same creatures that we seen at the bus stop. Also, is this just a dream? Because it did mention that in the beginning, so it's plausible, but my whole body was stricken with dismay. I was afraid to breathe. So this is how it ends. Desu said Masha quietly and held me tighter. No! This is not the end! I have to say that like, the loud voice. Suddenly I realized that I'll fight for her till the very last drop of my blood. As long as there's a slightest chance of survival. I jumped up, tugged her off the ground, and rushed to Lena. She was lying, deathly pale with her eyes open, and did not seem to understand what was happening at all. I started shaking her by the shoulders. Get up! There's no reaction. Hey, look, it's my current waifu, Miku, and my past waifu, Lena. Wow! Then I gave her a bunch of slaps, and she gave a dull groan. Get up, now! I aroused Lena, and she was staring at me with a spaced-out look. Let's run! I grabbed the girls by their hands and rushed aimlessly. The further from them, the better. I was tumbling, getting up again, helping Lena and Masha get up, hearing through the dense foliage. Eventually, the noise faded, only leaving us with the quiet chirping of grasshoppers. Also, one of my commenters, he has a Russian name, so I can't say it. He's a new guy. He's been commenting on like all my past videos. I don't know if I should thank him or get angry at him for spamming my YouTube inbox, but whatever. Um, he's been like revealing like all the references of people's names and stuff. But anyways, he said that the Yoya route Yoya route reveals everything. So I probably won't get any answers here. Maybe a few, like Kill the Killers, maybe. But well, I mean, it can't really be any one person except for Yoya, or maybe a antagonist we have yet to see. Maybe. The light heaved in the distance. Soon enough, we came to a small clearing, completely sheltered by the trees. There was a building that somehow looked like a kindergarten. What's that? I started. An old building as a camp. Oh, I don't really think it was Yoya either. Yoya? Whatever. Because I remember she was most likely the girl asking for the cake, and the person who left the apple. So, I mean, I think she has good intentions-ish. She's also most likely the person who brought us here, but... said Lena faintly. It's the old building. Seemed like she was slowly coming back to her senses. Yeah, I had a feeling we'd end up here. I stopped, hesitating. Sure, it was quite naive to think we could find shelter there. It was obvious that we can't feel secure anywhere with all that stuff happening around. On the other hand, we were on the verge of collapsing, especially the girls. I took a few steps, hesitating towards the boat. Oh! I remember in the Lena route, I don't know if it happens for all routes, but there's like a flashback, and it was someone and a girl alone in like the fallout shelter. Maybe that was us, Miku and I mean. Took a few steps, hesitating towards the building as the wrestling from behind reached my ears, frozen in my tracks, unable to turn around. The wrestling was growing louder, and I suddenly heard the diabolical chirping. Oh God! Forced myself with a superhuman effort and turned around. The crowd was behind me. A crowd of little girls. And I'm never getting the Ulyana out. Never. Oh yeah, they're the crowd of Ulyanas. All of them were exactly the same as Ulyana I've seen this morning, with the same torn face and horrible, distorted smile. And all of them produced these hellish sounds, the chirping of grasshoppers, truly diabolical one that made my heart sink. We froze in our steps, unable to take a single step away. All of a sudden, oh god, electronic. One of the Ulyanas came forward from the ground and pulled a torn head of router from behind her back. Grimace of horror was permanently motionless on its face. I almost fainted as she started to talk. Hey there, Subyan, how you doing? Her voice felt like a bullet, piercing right through my brain. I screamed and jerked towards the old camp building, dragging the girls along. I must admit that back then I had completely stopped thinking about Masha or Lena. Maybe they were also screaming. And maybe they were shackled by horror. I do not know. Most important thing now is to get as far away as possible from these monsters. We flew into the building, and immediately the ground disappeared from our feet, and I fell into darkness. Oh. I woke up in complete darkness. The whole body ached, especially my legs, but somehow I still managed to get up, leaning into the wall. No sound of Ulyanas could be heard, and it calmed me down a little. I've called out with a thin voice. Masha, Lena. I heard a movement near and felt someone gripping my leg. I instinctively jumped back, but at the same time a faint voice came from below. Are we still alive, Desu? Seems like. I helped Masha get up. Oh, I remember this place. Suddenly a bright light fired up a couple meters from me. Leaned up against the wall, started trembling. Wait, do you think we're gonna learn about Shurik's disappearance here? That could make sense. I mean, So, what if the Shuriken that was at in the Leonard route after he got found was actually a different Shuriken or something like that? I can't be sure right here, but anything's an option really. Leaning against the wall and started trembling, but it imminently realized that it was Lena, who turned on the flashlight. Where did it come from? Where did you get that? Lena came closely, limping. Took it just in case. Yesterday. Took the flashlight from her and turned around. We're in some kind of tunnel. The walls were lined with wires, unit lamps were hanging from the ceiling. Where are we? I don't know. It looks like some sort of bomb shelter. Looked up and saw a pretty formidable hole, behind which could hardly distinguish the hallway of the camp's old housing. The floor probably rotted with age, and we fell here. First glance, there's no way to climb back. Too high, and there's nothing to grab. So, what's there? Further? Asked, not really expecting an answer. I don't know, but we have to check. Showed forward with the flashlight and made a few uncertain steps. My whole body was covered in bruises and scratches, and I could still walk. Ouch. Leonard's cry came from behind. What is it? I think I sprained my foot. I was really expecting for the next phrase to be something cliche like, leave me behind, I'm only a burden. But at first, she would never say that. Okay, lean on me. I went up to Lena and offered her my shoulder. Hey, this is where the last Semyon disappeared at. Well, fell asleep, whatever. Soon enough, stone walls gave way to the wooden ones, and we ended up in a semblance of a mine. But obviously, if this was just a dream, it at least means something. Because there's no way a dream would last for this long. Let's have a break. Mashup break. Carefully lowered Lena to the ground. It's that near. Well, at least those monsters are nowhere to be seen. For how long? I sighed heavily and closed my eyes. What do you think is going on here? Ash's voice was trembling, but still sounded more or less confident. Looks like she was exhausted and devastated that there's no strength left for fear. I do not know. Honestly, I don't want to know. But we're gonna get out? Definitely. I could see her face, I couldn't see her face, but was sure she was smiling. Suddenly, the flashlight blinked and went out. I hit it with my palm several times. Mine walls lit up with a dim light once again, and I immediately realized that there's something wrong. Lena wasn't not anywhere nearby. Uh-oh. Lena disappeared. I whispered, "What?" Master grabbed me by the sleeve and stared at the spot where Lena was sitting a moment ago. How? But how? She started to cry quietly. We will die. We will definitely die. I also very much wanted to burst into tears. Darkness surrounded us all around, getting closer. The flashlight was gradually dying out, and with it our chances for survival. Get up, time to go. The battery will die soon. Lena's disappearance just now? She might be the killer, Lena. Well, I mean, definitely not making behind Ulyana, whatever's going on with her, but she very well could have hung Alyssa and killed Slavia. Get up, time to go. The battery will die soon. A couple minutes later, we came to a fork. What's this, some kind of labyrinth? I stood under my breath. Let's go back, maybe? No. No way. Master pressed against me even harder. Where to then? I don't know. But we had to choose anyway. And I decided to go right. Oh hey, choose this for me. Soon we came to another fork. Where to now? Let's follow the direction we took. I've been wandering too long. There's neither strength nor desire left to move on. I was so terribly thirsty, I was ready to lick off the moisture from the walls. Let's sit just a little bit. We can't! We must keep going. But just a minute. Masher begged Englishly. Fine. She lowered her head onto my shoulder. Man, what? If I have to wait till the Yoyo out to find out what's going on, I'm gonna be mad. I mean, I don't want it to be spoiled for me, but I at least want some answers. The flashlight was blinking more and more often, so I decided to turn it off for now, to save the battery. This is it. I don't know how much time passed. I terribly wanted to sleep. My eyes were closing by themselves. How did we first meet? This was way so long ago. Do you remember? I asked in a whisper. What? Ash's voice was trembling. How we've met. Yes. She tried to laugh, but immediately began to cough. I'll sleep for a while, okay? Just for a while. Or you'll sleep the whole day again. But you will wake me up. Of course. I kissed her and closed my eyes. Is this how it ends? Non-existence was getting closer, but I didn't care. I was transported back in time into the very day. My whole body was aching. Perhaps my brain couldn't rest in peace because it was distracted by thousands of signals from nerve endings. Somehow I rose up and woke up Masha. After all, we were planning to survive! Yeah! How long am I in this mine? Fork followed by fork, tunnel after a tunnel. Masha was whispering something all the time. To the left, to the right, to the left, to the right. Seems like I will not handle one more turn. Is this it? Or is this the place that didn't have an end? But suddenly the flashlight captured a tight passage from the darkness, and soon we found ourselves in a mine. Look, Masha was pointing somewhere into the darkness. Flash saw a neckerchief lying on the ground. This is not... No, let's go. At least we got out of the labyrinth and found ourselves in a small room. This is where Shurik attacked us. And that neckerchief, I think that was Shurik's last time. There were broken bottles all over the floor, pipes stretched along the walls, and at the end, them were rusted valves. I just want to go back and film the movie. That would have been an amazing film. They could have called it Everlasting Summer. You know, I thought of that name myself, really. It could have been about, you know, like a 30-year-old who went back in time to a pioneer camp. It could be called Sylvanok, believe it or not. And, like, he could meet all these cute girls. Then he gonna marry one and have 2 children and write a book. Really? That would be a pretty good movie. I'd watch it. There were broken bottles, pipes across the wall, quotations from street Russian folklore written everywhere. At least some sort of scenery change. I sighed. Lantern was almost died off, and I had to shake it every 10 seconds to slightly recover the battery. Exhausted Masher dropped to the floor. Can't stop. Sure there's an exit somewhere here. How do you know? I looked at her. She obviously had no energy anymore. Masher was struggling with her exhaustion, could lose consciousness any second. I just know it. Smiled, trying to look encouragingly. Well, if so. She leaned against the wall and stood up hardly. Sit here for now. I'll see what is further. I'm afraid. Asher trembled. I'm not going far. She raised her eyes full of hope and nodded barely noticeably. She's dead. Looked away and noticed a heavy iron door. My attempt to open it led to nothing. That's how arrested it was. I don't remember this door. I wish that pipe would be here now. But there's no other choice. I put my leg on the wall and leaned on the handle stronger. My wrists bulged. My forehead covered in sweat. My vision darkened. But the door didn't budge. Just a hollow rattle came off. It's alright. Wait a second. I shouted gaspingly in the direction where Masha sat. I need to find some sort of stick. I ran up to Masha, bent and smiled. There's definitely an exit beyond this door. Oh. She looked at me worryingly. I ran out of the room and began to scout the mine in search of something suitable. The lantern was about to die. Having blinked the last, he finally died. Panicking began to storm out, trying to find the way back. However, I ran into the walls all the time and couldn't remember at all how I got here. Masha, Masha, I screamed, hoping that she'll hear me. Oh god. Suddenly, some sound came from the back. Lights came on, and my shadow, carried far away into the darkness, appeared on the ground. I was shamed by fear. There was a seemingly familiar voice. What's wrong, Semyon? Got lost? Oh god! I hardly turned back and saw Lena holding a torch in her hand. Her face was disfigured by an inhuman grin. I've come for you! That was the same Lena that was in the square last evening. The same at Olga's house. That was Lena, and at the same time, not Lena. This creature is more like those Ulyanas. Coming for you! Who are you? I squeezed out. It's Lena, don't you recognize me? We got married, remember? She burst into a devilish laughter. You completely forgot about me while having fun with them? Words were stuck in my throat. But it's alright. There's nobody left now, just us two. So, you did everything? Bingo! Not everything, of course. Wait, it was Lena. Oh! For some seconds, her face became guilty. Then she grinned again. There's lots of typos in that sentence. Slavia was first. She was always so annoying. She was like Miss Reliability, diligent, hardworking, always everywhere, agreeing with everyone. Yuck! Her scream when I was tearing off her arms, huh? It's a pity you haven't seen it all. Oh wow, I wish I saw that! Her mouth began to tremble. Saliva flowed out of it and her eyes rolled up. Then Alyssa, everybody's enraging me. I need no one. Now she's hanging on a tree, alone, peacefully. However, it wasn't so easy to lift her up there. But for the greater effect. And how you all screamed, huh? Like pigs in a slaughterhouse. Lena's face was distorted by a pleasure grin. Alright, now Biku left to deal with, and then it's over. Oh god, she took out a giant hatchet covered with blood from behind her back. Okay guys, we're gonna find out what happens next time. This might be the end in like a minute, but I'm gonna cut this. If it's only like 2 or 3 more minutes, then you'll see the end of it, you know, like now. But see you guys next time. Dai Baba Gikai for most likely the finale of Miku's Out.